Okay. So everyone's safely secure in cryo for 7 months. Without a human presence, the ship is quiet. Everyone, including Chum, sleeps safe and sound in their pods without worry of danger. Mother 9000 pilots the Clementine towards their destination. The collective of synthetics spends much of their time together, unburdened by the human needs for sleep or refractory rest periods after social gatherings.
Lucy wants to look inside the cargo box. The, whatever life form he's referring to.
Okay. So,
Ron, do you want to go look inside to see what this specimen is that they keep referring to?
I don't think it's a big deal. So, yeah, we could go look at it.
All right.
Okay.
So Lucy and Rom both make their way to the back of the ship and into the cargo bay, where they see that the small mechanical walker is plugged into the ship and drawing power. And basically, on its back is a metal, like a square metal box, and it's got like frost all across it because whatever's inside of it has been frozen.
Looks like a cryo bay.
And they're powering it.
Yeah.
They haven't told you what they think is in here at all?
Not really, but I mean, we've been pretty busy since we all met up, so I wasn't too worried about it. I'm sure if we just asked Salil or Chum, they would just tell us.
Do you think we need to prepare for potential attacks by opening this thing?
I don't think it's anything dangerous. It hasn't done anything in the almost 3 months we've had it, so it's just sat there being cold. It's like a refrigerator.
Yeah. Okay. So do I need to roll something to see if I can just kind of look a little bit more at the outside to see if there's an opening or a latch or something?
Yeah, you could roll an observation to see if she finds something like that.
Ugh.
Lucy doesn't see anything that would particularly help her open it.
Okay, she's gonna open it.
So Lucy hits the button and watches as a metal shield just rises up up to the top and reveals a 2 to 3 inch thick glass viewport to show that inside of this thing, in a frozen purple liquid, is the 20-week-old human fetus, ram horns, and goat's feet.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. I mean, they probably don't either. They've literally just got it and then immediately brought it into a ship. I'm sure if they had somewhere to study it, they would. But we don't have anywhere to contain it, so they're just keeping it frozen.
While Rom is talking, she hits the button to close it back up.
He's like, oh, all right. Yeah, that was weird. Do you want to go play with the time crystal? We could probably see if we could plug it into Mother and see if there's any more information it can give us. I mean, it could also shut down the ship. I don't know what will happen, but we have it.
Sure. Doesn't look like this thing can do anything right now, but...
It's a baby. What could it do to us? Headbutt us?
I don't know. I don't like it, but, I guess you're right. It hasn't really, nothing's really happened. They haven't taken it out.
I think they're being cautious because they don't have anywhere to put it safely to not destroy anything on the ship, and they're trying to be respectful of the ship and us. So that's nice of them.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, we can go look at the time crystal if you want.
Yes. All right. Do you want to help me contact a roll to see if we can plug it into Mother and see if we can unlock anything else in our main computer system?
Sure.
All right. So Rom goes down into the tech lab and runs into Leo, Panthera, and Philaday. And they all turn as Rom walks in and they're like, "Hello, Rom."
Oh, God. Hi. Do you want to help me? I'm just looking for any more information about our location or about us and how we connect to the crystal, and if it has I know that we transferred our bodies numerous times, but I wasn't sure if it like affected our robotics in a way that like allowed it to be transferred, or if we were in like one unit that adapted as we aged.
Well, by scanning it, you're not going to get anything like that.
Um,
You learn that this thing is creating its own energy and essentially putting out like the equivalent of like 150 terajoules of power, basically the equivalent of like 50 nuclear power stations. Like you could basically like charge anything with it for hundreds of years.
well, then I'll try to have Lucy and me connect with it so that we can experience that. Is that a Comtech as well to connect to it?
No, you just kind of say that you try to do it.
All right. Well, then I try to do it.
Same.
So as you're holding the crystal shard, like your eyes just kind of like roll back, and all of a sudden, like the world around you is just kind of like scrolling ones and zeros, just like, but they're like flickering into every different kind of language, like alien languages that you don't recognize, Sumerian, Egyptian, English. Like it's just all just like fluttering like all around you.
I'm trying to connect to figuring out where our code like what like I'm trying to find who created our code outside of the time crystal. Was it just or I'm trying to find the beginning of the thread just so I can start pulling on it.
The only thing that you see when you do that is the same kind of images that you saw before of the crystal city floating inside of just a massive expanse of nothing, with like darkness overwhelming it, and like just screams of like, or not screams, but like just the high pitched sort of like radio like like just like sounds like that. But yeah, no, it's not showing you anything else. It just keeps repeating the like longitude, latitude over and over again.
Can I focus on the darkness? That's
Yeah. So like
overwhelming.
as you focus on the darkness, you see that it appears to be like trillions of like small creatures, just like trillions and trillions and trillions of like small tiny creatures all moving together in like a swarm, like just mouths just like chomping.
Can I focus in on just one of them to try to see where they're swirling in from?
Yeah, so like as you focus on the one, you get closer and closer, and like all of a sudden like it turns and like looks at you, and then the whole swarm turns and looks at you and just like floods towards you, and like everything around you is just like chaos, and like you drop down to the ground and like all of your skin just gets like shredded off of your body, and they start to eat through your metal and your cables and your wires and like everything that makes you you, until there's just like nothing but like metallic powder that like drifts away into the wind. And then like terrified Rom's like eyes pop back open, and he like drops the crystal shard to the ground and like kind of like hits the metal with a thunk.
So Lucy, like, because I guess she was kind of, I assume she was still kind of focused on like the regular things that they normally see, because she didn't know what he was looking at. Did not experience any of that. So all she knows is that he dropped it. And so she kind of like looks down at him and says like, Rom, are you okay?
I don't know if I just alerted something to us.
Alerted what? Like, what do you mean?
There were these like trillions of little like black alien creatures that were swarming and blanketing the entire green city or whatever that we were looking at, the emerald looking city. And I kept focusing in on them to try to get a better and better picture and understanding of what I was looking at. When I got too close to focusing on one, they all turned towards me and they ate me.
She like looks down at him, and then she turns to the other three and says, do you know anything about where we're going, or if there's something waiting for us when we get there?
Panthera steps forward and he goes, Mother was never capable of cracking the code. She had us try many times. We attempted so many possible ways of doing it, but we are unable to interact with the crystal in the way that you are. We have studied it and learned of its capabilities, but we are unable to commune with it. What you have done is almost godlike.
Can I draw the creature that I saw?
Yeah. So basically, what it was, imagine, you know what that reactive magnet stuff looks like when it looks like liquid magnet almost, like where it's all spiky. Have you seen that stuff?
Yes, yeah.
So it's like that. It's like a critter where there's no eyes, arms, or legs, but it's just like a gaping mouth of fangs. And instead of a little body of fur, it's a body of just like black reactive magnet liquid.
That does not look good. And you said that there were trillions of them?
Yeah, they were enveloping everything. We could try to reconnect and ask the time stone what it wants us, what it wants from us. Because we haven't tried just talking to it when we're in there. We've just let it talk to us.
That's true. And Mother did tell us that it was the actual crystal calling out to us. Yes, let's try that.
All right. Just give me a moment. Rom cracks his neck and is just shaking out all right, let's try this again. That experience sucked. It ate nothing but me.
Oh my god.
So as Rom and Lucy put their hands back on the crystal, they suddenly have this shared vision of this big chamber. It's like a circular chamber, and in the center of the chamber is like a large crystal bloom, like a flower bloom. Basically, and in the center of that bloom, there's just this beacon of light, pulsing, bloom, bloom, bloom. That's the image that it's showing you.
Hello?
There's no answer. You just hear sort of the same sounds that you heard in the previous one, where it's just bling, boom,
Can I try to focus on the sound effects and see if I can decipher if it's turning into ones and zeros, or is the audible noises of that?
No, it's impossible.
Okay.
At this stage.
Can we move closer to the bloom?
Yeah. As you walk towards the bloom, you just basically see that it appears to be completely made out of crystal, but it's flowing and moving. And in the center of the bloom, where the light is pulsing from, there's a slot. There's an open hole, a little, something's missing.
Does it look? Can I roll an observation to see if it looks like our time crystal piece?
Sure.
All right, I hit it. It should be coming through. There it goes.
So Rom makes the realization that the time crystal would fit perfectly in that spot, and when he has that thought, the pulsing light turns from red to blue, and then sort of the room around you starts to fireworks start going off, to let you know yeah, you're on the right track.
Can I imagine the crystal in my hand and be putting it into that slot, or do I have to?
Yeah, you can. So as you do that, the crystal bloom folds up around it, and then just a ball of energy, or the crystal shard in the center of the bloom starts to glow really brightly, and then a ball of energy expands from around the crystal sphere and the bloom to encompass the majority of the room, and then when that happens, it kicks you back out into reality.
Well, now we know what we have to do.
Yeah.
Wish we had more info on those critters.
They were outside the city and they descended upon the city. That's what you saw?
Yeah, they were just like our original vision. When we looked at the city, it just descended into darkness. But when I focused on the darkness, it was made up of these orbs with teeth that had like magnetic metallic fur that were just blanketing out all light. How the hell are we going to deal with that without getting shut down ourselves? Do we have any EMP capabilities?
My personal armor does. I don't know about.
Mine doesn't.
No, it does not.
I know that Salil had tried to build dampeners in the outfits he built, but there were no children's-sized ones, so that doesn't help.
Also, like many of the crew members have purchased new armor since then.
Yeah, Grimshaw has that whole entire trailer-sized box. Maybe there's something in there for you.
Well, I bought just normal, the 6 armor outfit, the base like Wayland armor.
Yeah, we would have to like insulate it with something.
I guess that's something we could do over the 7 months, is try to gather enough insulation to block out EMP waves so I don't get shut down every time we get hit with with just a blast.
Can I ask the 3 androids with us if any of them have any kind of like specialties that would help us with that?
They basically just kind of look at you like, what are you trying to do here? Like, you're trying to insulate yourself from an electromagnetic pulse?
Yes.
I mean, we don't have technology that exists that could like be installed into armor that would allow for something like that, especially for an android. If what Lucy's saying is true about her armor, there must be something very special about it.
Oh, well.
You could baby Bjorn me and then carry my ass to the crystal, and I'll baby Bjorn the crystal, so that we're just three things just attached.
I feel like that might be one of the only options because it'll expand to cover you as well.
Yeah, so that's not going to happen.
We could ride in on the motorcycle. That thing seemed impervious.
Also true.
We should watch their dreams. They may have some fucked up shit happening. Do you want to watch one of the 2 people that beat you up?
Sure. Let's do Bort first.
All right.
Okay, hold on. So, Rom and Lucy both go over to the cryopod room 1 and like stand on either side of Bort's cryopod, and each of them plug in cables from the Dreamweaver machine.
Bort is kind of having one of those dreams that spans like different portions of your life or different events or different media that you've seen. Like, right, it's just one of these dreams. It's like a hodgepodge of different stuff. And so you're probably going to see scenes of him as a younger man in the Colonial Marshals, and then interacting with his mother and his mother's gravesite, and him wrestling, right? Like these would all be things that you would kind of like see. I don't know exactly how they're stitched together into some weird dream, right? But
that works for me.
Grimshaw is asleep in his cryopod and he's dreaming. What is Grimshaw dreaming about right now?
He's dreaming about his previous battles in the Marines, and just kind of randomly, it's like a hodgepodge of like real things that have happened to him, but at the same time, like little details are changed, and it's not quite how it happened. It's kind of hard to like, how like dreams are like partially based in reality. The setting is more or less the same, but some of the people are random. Like 1 minute it'll be his squad, the next it'll be a childhood friend or somebody he went to school with, like a teacher, and they'll just be totally out of place.
So then Chum is just like cruising away safe and sound in his cryopod, and he's dreaming. What is Chum dreaming about?
He sees the specimen as like a much larger creature that looms over him, and it's like he's like in its shadow, and it moves towards him, and he's not fearful of it, but something tells him that he should run. So he starts to run, and as he runs, he falls over a cliff and keeps falling and keeps falling and keeps falling and keeps falling.
7 months later. Having reached the supermassive void weeks ago, Rom and Lucy have spent much of that time standing on the bridge in silence themselves. Outside, where there should be a field of stars, is instead endless black. There is no light whatsoever. It's the lack thereof, an abject emptiness that should not be. To conceive of something is simple. To exist within it, separate from the null, is something completely different. To even synthetic life, such an anomaly is difficult to process.
I spy with my little eye something black
How many times are you going to say that?
until it stops being funny.
It's like the
Is
700, 756th time.
This is really unsettling. I don't like the lack of light. And I just keep having that same vision of being digested by toothed, like magnetic hair creatures. Fucking, I don't like it.
Sounds like it was horrible.
It wasn't great. It just turned me into nothingness. I've never seen anything attack an android like that outside of, humans. I wish I wasn't such a light snack.
I'm sure at some point we'll find an appropriate new body for you.
We'll see. See if we make it out of dropping off this football. He says as he chucks the time stone in the air and catches it.
He's just casually chucking the time stone in there.
Yeah, I mean, why not? It's football shaped.
It is, yeah. From the ship's comm system, Mother 9000's voice speaks up. Warning! The Clementine has been pulled into the gravitational force of a black hole. T minus 3 minutes before implosion. Ship destruction imminent. Looking through the bridge's viewport, neither Rom or Lucy is capable of seeing where they're getting pulled, as there is no evidence of light even to be pulled into a black hole. Looking through the bridge's viewport, neither Rom or Lucy is capable of seeing where they're getting pulled, as there is no evidence of light even to be pulled into a black hole.
Let's fire a missile or something into the in there, because we should be able to see where it's being pulled and try to fly away from it. I'm just gonna fire a weapon.
All right, so Rom immediately fires 3 rockets, and from the viewport you guys see that you're so close to the black hole that basically the second that they release from the ship, that they all just pinpoint prick into nothingness and zip into the darkness.
Fuck! Piloting, reverse.
So Lucy's gonna grab the time crystal
Okay.
from Rom, who's just casually, I guess, probably not.
No,
still
he's now
not
holding
anymore.
on to the, trying to back away.
All right, so Rom gets onto the pilot yoke as Lucy goes to grab the time crystal, but the gravitational forces of the black hole are just too strong, and there's nothing that Rom can do to break away from their trajectory.
Well, let's go into it then. I don't know what'll happen. I've never flown through a black hole before.
And as Lucy grabs the time crystal, all of a sudden her eyes roll back in her head, and the white turns black, and she's suddenly capable of seeing things in the darkness that Rom is not capable of seeing.
So she says, Rom, grab the crystal. Don't take it out of my hand. Just touch it.
All right, I touched the crystal.
Once he does that, all of a sudden the same thing happens to him, and his mechanical eyes turn black. Through the bridge's viewport, Rom can see what appears to be electromagnetic tendrils extending out from a singular point in the nothingness. A geometrical web of undulating, pulsing waveforms betraying their next positions to him, like crashing waves on the surf of a beach. Now you could try to pilot into it if you want.
All right.
That's going to be an extreme difficulty of -5.
-5. So I don't get my. So for me, being like the back of my hands in full throttle, it'll just be a -1.
Okay,
Should be
and
good.
Lucy can give you a +1.
Oh, so it could just be flat.
Yep.
All right. Oof.
Okay. As the Clementine breaches the event horizon of the black hole, time begins to slow down before coming to a stop completely right as the tip of the ship's nose crosses into the black hole. Before either of the synthetic twins are capable of even thinking of a singular thought, their 3D plane of reality extends out into a fifth dimension of kaleidoscopic, bright, flashing lights of wonder. It simultaneously lasts forever and less than a second before the Clementine is shot back out into space, spinning end over end like a cannonball, throwing the bodies of Rom and Lucy around the bridge like rag dolls. Somewhere, some kind of light, different than sunlight, pours through the bridge's viewport. Unable to steady themselves, they continue to get thrown around the bridge, smashing into heavy, jagged metal machinery, ripping and tearing holes across their synthetic skin as the ship crashes. Due to your speed, you're only able to catch glimpses of a massive crystalline structure growing ever larger as you approach. Roll mobility. You manage to grab hold of the manual piloting controls, basically together at the same time, and steady the ship just before smashing into an enormous crystal spire. Instead, the ship pulls up, dragging its bottom across the top of the crystal sphere, which breaks a football-sized chunk off that, instead of falling down, drifts up to the sky towards the black hole. You're barely able to keep the Clementine steady as the ship crash lands into the city, smashing through multiple crystal buildings.
Oh. Wow. Are you all right?
Yeah, that's never happened before. You know who could have handled this better? Adult me.
She reluctantly laughs at his joke because she's tired of hearing about it.
Well, squeaky wheel, am I right?
No. She's
No, I mean, like, she's probably heard it, like, I mean, it's been 7 months. So imagine how much he's talked about.
Oh, yeah, no, I get it. I just...
okay. I don't want to offend anyone. No, it's fine. Okay, so yeah, she kind of checks herself because I know they were
Yeah, you
kinda
guys got fucked up.
crazy. So she kind of like, I guess maybe observation to see like kind of what's.
Yeah, both of you lost 3 hit points.
Oof, okay.
Everything, all of your systems are in working order. It's just that, like, parts of your synth skin is just, like, shredded. Like, you know, pieces of your arm is gone and, like, maybe a chunk or two of your face. Like, you guys just got, like, fucking banged around really bad. Definitely, like, missing some fingertips.
Oof, okay.
Oh, shit. How are Panthera, Felide, and Leo doing? Can I call into the tech lab?
Yeah, sure. Roll contact to see if that even works. You guys just crashed the ship.
Damn it. Hey, guys, are you all right?
Panthera speaks up and he goes, "Oh, yes, Rom, we're okay. A little bit worse for the wear, but all 3 of us are still online and ready to go. Are you okay? How's Lucy? Is the shard all right?"
I look around for the shard.
It's like laying over in a corner.
Yeah, everything's fine with us. We just got cut up a little bit. Could you check on the specimen in the cargo bay? Make sure that it's still in one piece.
Yeah, you guys sit there in the Panthera's like, "Absolutely, give me a moment," and like you guys sit there in like super awkward silence for like 3 minutes as like Panthera like walks from the tech lab over to the cargo bay, enters the cargo bay, and sees that the cargo walker had stayed magnetized to the floor, so it never even moved once, even during like the shattering of like the ship.
Awesome. All right.
We should
We
probably
don't have to talk about that. Let's go fix our skin and make it look like we did this perfectly.
pretend like it didn't.
Pretend like it didn't happen. Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Should we check to make sure that the cryo
Oh, they're fine. Fuck.
They're in. They're still like, not.
They're
haven't been
bolted to the
checked.
ground. Like, the most that happened is Chum's face got fucked up.
The other side of his face.
It's just all busted. They have black eyes when they wake up.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Can we patch our skin up or
No,
whatever? Or
no.
is that, do we not have
That
the.
would be a.
You
That
definitely
would
do
be
not.
just a contact,
You
right?
do not have the ability to do that.
We don't have any extra spray.
No.
Well, I didn't know if we had like extra canisters or whatever from when we were all shopping.
I mean, I didn't buy any.
Nobody bought.
I
it.
didn't.
Nobody bought any of that.
Well,
That was really good foresight, huh? I guess we should probably check on the crew members then if we can't fix anything.
we can heal ourselves up though, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You just got to roll medical aid on yourselves.
Oh, God.
Is it medical for androids or is it contact and
It is
heavy machinery?
It is heavy machinery.
Can Leo patch up Rom? Because Rom doesn't have good heavy machinery. He's all comtech and piloting.
Yeah, 1 second. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, Lucy and Rom both are patched up successfully. Lucy by herself and Rom by Leo.
Yeah, so then I'll go try to wake people up.
All right, hold on.
Here we go.
So at that point, Lucy walks into the cryo bay and wakes everybody up. So everybody roll survival, and each of you is dehydrated and starving. All right, Layla takes 1 stress, just waking up, just feeling like absolute garbage. Like she's just not feeling, just like she didn't get cryo sickness, but like she woke up with like just a raging fucking migraine.
So we just traveled through a black hole. We were able to pilot through it with the help of the time crystal. The ship is a little bit worse for wear, but I guess we can deal with that later. We are where we were trying to get. So once everyone is feeling better, healthy, I probably need to eat pretty quickly. We should probably head out. I think Rom figured out what we need to do while we're here through communicating with the time crystal. So we just need to head into the city.
So I guess I have a 2-part question. Where are we? And we intentionally travel through a black hole?
Yes, and are we the same people we were, or are we like in one of those weird freaky dimensional things like where we're different now?
Don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, why would you know that? That's a weird question. Or it's like disoriented. He's like,
Yeah.
Grimshaw, Layla, and Reed just like groggily get up and head to the galley to eat some schlop and drink water.
Salil
Yeah.
does the same thing.
Layla takes a swig of her flask. He's like, a fucking black hole. This just gets better and better.
Chum checks his face to see if anything is broken, and he actually sees that both of his eyes are black. And he's chipped a tooth.
It's somehow better in text form.
His front left tooth is just like half of it's missing. So like whenever he says any words with an S, it definitely just like whistles. Jumps. Okay. There's a reason for that though. There is actually a reason for why he's all busted up.
is it just him though?
It is. It is, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
I don't even know where we are.
Yeah, Bort's also very curious after kind of like eating and getting a drink of water and putting on some type of regular clothes, like not their cryo sleep clothes.
Rom's waiting in the bridge, just like, oh, hey guys, I landed perfectly and didn't fly through a black hole, nearly killing us all.
She already
Welcome.
told us about the black hole.
Damn it.
I mean, I said that we did it well.
I mean, obviously we're alive, but like, how's that even work?
Luck.
Well, I don't know nothing about physics, so that's fine. I'll take it.
You guys look fine. All of you look like your faces are in one piece. Oh no. Chum, what happened to your face again?
I don't know what happened to me.
Rob knows
Someone
what happened to him.
explain what's happening. I keep waking up with more damage.
Your voice is terrible. Says
Jump.
Rob.
John just needs to like set up an IV with never sleep and just never fall asleep again. Because when you wake up, it's just progressively worse.
Is that what we're seeing through the windows?
That's the bird's eye view image. You guys have crashed on that. Everything around you is crystalline superstructures like towers and spirals, like intermingling walkways and pathways. It's very alien. Like there's absolutely no like human forethought or anything to it. There's like all of these like gardens and.
So what we have to do is we've got to deliver this football to the end zone and implant it into a flower that will then turn into a series of circles and be beautiful.
Okay.
And then we'll find out what happens from there.
Okay.
So I'm glad you guys are all rested up, looking good, healthy.
What are you talking about?
Also, there may or may not be critters with giant, like, fucking teeth and electromagnetic hair.
What the fuck?
I saw it in one of the visions. You know, nothing we haven't handled before. I missed you guys. I got to watch some of your dreams. They were real weird.
You were watching our dreams.
Well, yeah, Dr. Salil got a dream viewer that we could watch everyone's dreams through. So it was like having entertainment. It was better than the movies. Last time I did this, Captain Grimshaw, I watched just a series of Rodney Dangerfield movies. And this time I got to see your movies.
That's a tad bit invasive.
I mean, you would do the same. It's really boring. You cannot imagine how boring sitting in darkness is for 7 months.
I mean, that's still not really licensed for you to do whatever you want.
No.
I mean,
Lucy's just
Because your board is like really kind of like the worst actual act.
So we didn't ask us if this was okay.
Because you're bored and you could do it. It's I don't know.
I really don't.
How does
see
an
the
android
problem.
even get bored? I don't understand that.
You have a lot of time to process.
That's fair.
Well, I mean, I
how
would have
about
gotten
this?
consent. Can I watch your dreams next time you're in cryo sleep?
Definitely not.
No.
Please. Well, it's not like you could say no, so there's that issue too.
Chum just said that consent, my dude. Jesus space fucking Christ.
You know what? I didn't touch your bodies. I just dabbled a little bit in your minds. It's fine.
Yeah, our bodies are like not nearly as intimate as where you went. Like I would rather have you touch me at this point.
Rob pats you on the shoulder.
No. That was definitely just an example for the purpose of this conversation.
Did you look through my mind? No, actually we didn't. So we thought it would be rude to jump into your mind. Same with Reggie and Layla.
So it was literally just me and Bort.
Okay.
Oh, and Shum.
jump too. Lucy's like not contributing at all. She does not want them to know that like she was also a part of it.
Lucy was watching too.
She just like looks down at her.
Okay. All right. Let's just pull back a minute and let's agree that we're not going to do any more dream peeking here. Because that is
Why
just
else would we have that great machine? I was able to record some of them.
what?
So you can watch them later.
Okay. I'm sorry. I feel a certain way about this.
right,
There are perfect,
I'll put a
reasonable
baby-
legal uses for that device. This is not one of them.
I feel like I know everyone a lot better now. Who wants to step into an alien crystal city that was the birthplace of me and Lucy and this football crystal?
I mean, sorry. What are the mission parameters here? I mean, like, do we need somebody to stay back and watch the ship, or can everybody come with us? I mean, like,
The ship's pretty fucked
do
up.
we? Right, but
Yeah,
it's
someone
our only way out of here, right? Like,
Yeah, someone probably should do repairs. examine the damage?
So we may need to leave here in a hurry.
I mean, you could leave Leo and Felidate behind to try to fix it.
That would work. They don't belong to old boy.
I mean, technically, they don't belong to anybody.
And where are they? They're both still
They're
in
in
the
the tech
lab.
lab.
What can Panthera do? Panthera, are you
He's a medic.
good at comtech or?
No, he's a medic.
Oof. All right. So.
All right, Captain Grimshaw. So who's field team and how are we doing this?
I mean, Grimshaw and Layla and Regis are all gonna be in the field team.
Board will go down with him.
Well, I mean, Salil wants to go specifically because it has to do with his end goals, is understanding how this whole thing works.
Okay.
He will go wherever he is needed, but he just kind of wants to roll with Salil.
So then Panthera is willing to go with you as well. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of you. As the hangar bay door descends, everyone leaving the ship has to hold a hand over their eyes to adjust from the sudden beams of light reflected off all of the buildings nearby. Stepping out, you gaze into the sky but are unable to find exactly where the light source comes from, which is confusing and disorienting that it's as bright as a noonday sky without clouds. +1 stress to all humans, as you see that the ship, the Clementine, has fucking crashed into like maybe a mile and a half of like crystal buildings and just decimated like a large like carving like through the fucking ground like leading up to where you guys are. Like it was clearly a very dangerous landing. All the buildings around you, as well as the ground beneath your feet, are made of perfectly smooth, flat, prismatic crystal. There appears to be no doors or windows to any of the buildings, which stand at distinctly different heights, each of which shaped into a spire or a tower. Scattered across the ground outside of the buildings and through the streets are countless, perfect, crystal icosagons. Those, too, range in size from pebble up to boulder. What feels most out of place to you, however, are the well-manicured lawns, colorful gardens, and caretaken tree groves plentifully littered throughout the city. As far as you can tell, however, there are no animals. No birds chirping, no worms slithering through the dirt. This place is completely silent and appears to be a ghost town. And just so everybody knows, an icosagon is a 20-sided dice. So like a bunch of like 20-sided little balls, like ranging from pebble up to boulder, just like scattered around the ground on the city.
Rom's gonna look around to make sure that there's no like oscillating darkness around them. That could be those creatures he saw in his dream.
Roll observation. He sees no undulating darkness anywhere.
All right.
Yeah, so I guess Bort sees this and he is just in awe of it, but also like very concerned about the condition of the ship. I think he is kind of struck by the fact that it very clearly looks like something is here, because like manicured lawns don't just like show up out of nowhere. But then he's confused because there's nobody there. So like somebody lives here, but there's nobody there. He's getting like not a bad feeling about it, but he feels kind of uneasy.
Do you know where you're supposed to be going, Lucy and Rom? Have you tried to connect to the crystal again?
You can try to see if we get more clear instructions.
I mean, it doesn't hurt if we're closer to try, I guess.
Yeah, we can do that.
I guess we grab onto the crystal and think real hard.
Okay. So as they do that, all of a sudden the crystal starts to like pulse like a heartbeat. And like as you guys like turn it like closer towards the direction that like you need to go, it starts to like pulse faster.
Oh, cool. It's like a divining rod now, Lucy.
That makes this easier.
Can Bort use investigator?
Okay.
Like he's kind of like mostly concerned about the setting. He's like looking at the, you know, I guess these crystals. He's looking at the city itself. He's looking at like the emptiness of it, the trees and the grass and stuff. And he's wondering, is there anything out of place? Are there any details here out of place? Something that's out of the ordinary?
So as Bort is like examining, there's like nearby, there's like maybe like 10 or 15 feet away. It's not far away from everybody. It's not far enough away that like him walking over there would stress anybody out. There's sort of this like little, what appears to be sort of like a park. And he walks up to this large tree that is sort of near the edge of the park that lines up next to the crystal walkway that you guys are standing on that flutters like a, you know, like a rainbow basically beneath your feet. And then, like, as he gets up closer to the tree, it's clear that it's not a tree, but instead it's like organic nanotechnology, like trillions of tiny living machines formed together to create like the larger living beings of the trees and the grass.
So okay. All right, so he's looking at that, and he's kind of like looking closely, and can he? I guess does he see it moving, or like how's that appear to him?
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's like that thing where if you don't look at it for a long period of time, like if you just glance, it appears to be like a single solid object. Like the longer that he looks at it, like he starts to see like cracks, like in the shadows of the bark that are like fluttering a little bit, like where it's like that's clearly like not one object, like that's made up of a bunch of different tiny objects.
Okay.
And then like looking down, he sees that like the blades of the grass are the same, and the different flowers in the garden are the same. Like that's none of it is once. It's not solid.
What about the dice? What about the 20-sided?
Icosagons.
Yeah,
Those are solid crystal. Like those are solid crystals. They're definitely not made up of a bunch of different things.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of doing the same thing he just did, the trees and the grass and stuff. He's kind of like looking very closely at it, not touching it, not really kind of getting too close to it, but he's trying to examine any details he notices about it.
It's just a purely, completely see-through. Like they're all like little crystal balls. Like they're like from marble size up to like boulder. Like just see-through, completely clear crystal balls.
Can he kind of maybe like poke it with something?
Yeah, like what is he?
All right, I guess so. Any of his gear, maybe he's like holding his pulse rifle, and can he just kind of like use the butt of it to like kind of tap on it to see if it does anything?
Like what size Icosagon?
I mean, something he can kneel down to, something that's not boulder size, but also not pebble size.
Okay. So as Bort like taps his gun against the crystal ball, it suddenly like rolls away from the gun.
Hey.
And then like starts to vibrate a little bit.
Oh no.
And then like floats up to Bort's chest level, and like sparks of light energy begin to like proliferate around it, like multiplying.
Oh man.
Multiplying until what appears to be the facsimile of like Bort's human body staring back at him. Like,
hey, buddy.
It like reaches out a hand towards Bort, the light form of the Icosagon, and like points its finger at you.
I very cautiously put my finger up as well.
All right. The second that Bort's finger touches the finger of the light form, the whole light form's body solidifies into a hard light construct identical to Bort.
What? Okay. Is everyone else seeing this?
Yeah.
Holy shit, Bort. There's two of you.
Hey, look at that. I got a twin now.
How did you do that?
My God.
I didn't. I just tapped it with my gun here, and it did this
Ron walks
freaky
over to
copying
one
thing.
and taps it.
As
Fourth, I suggest you back away.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not trying to fuck with this.
as Bort is saying all of this to you, like the hard light image of Bort is also speaking, but it's like you see its mouth moving, but it's instead making these like pop like weird like beeping noises and stuff.
Weird. Okay.
And as Rom walks over to tap another one, without warning, everyone suddenly hears a cry of pain from their midst as they turn to see Captain Grimshaw buckle at the knee and drop to the ground, screaming in pain. Layla, Chum, and Salil know what's happening. But for Regis, Bort, Lucy, and Panthera, there is nothing but confusion. Underneath his armor, Donald's skin tightens and stretches to accommodate the sudden and immensely painful baseball-sized blisters appearing to bubble up across his body.
God damn it, not again.
Dropping his weapons, Grimshaw falls to the ground, grabbing at his body in a fetal position as the squids, without anywhere to exit his armor, begin to attack and eat him as their only source of food. Suddenly his metal hand falls off as from the stump, a new black taloned claw begins to grow. All humans take 1 stress. What's
Oh, Bort's very much like, oh no, not again. Like we we just left the place with those things.
And Regis is pretty much just like, by my what? And he knows what it is just based off of what Grimshaw's told him, but he didn't realize like how visceral this would be. And he's simultaneously terrified and fascinated and kind of excited to see what happens.
Lucy raises her conch gun. She's like real mad. And she says, like, what the hell is happening? And she like turns on Rom. You knew about this?
Remember, I'm in a child's body. So
And
I may have left one thing.
She's like, you let him on my ship. He's infected. Mutations
Well, no,
like this
he's not
only
infected.
Chaos and destruction.
He's
could
not
have killed us
infected.
all.
He's kind of the infection.
And that makes it better?
Well, no, because he's in control 90% of the time. But that 10% comes out every once in a while, but not all the time. So are you going to weigh him for the 90% of good he does or the 10% of a little bit of bad he is capable of doing?
She's like,
We just have to kill the things and then it's fine. We'll just kill the things that are all trapped on his body right now under his armor. It's all contained, actually. We should just smash them while they're on him.
Nearby, the bioorganic nano grass and trees begin to shake, wobbly at first, growing to a much higher vibrational frequency as the technology appears to become agitated and angry. What was once soft and rounded has become jagged and sharp. The grass and trees begin to morph, losing their shape and color, appearing to devolve into some kind of shimmering black sludge that, once it's begun moving, makes a direct surge towards Grimshaw's fetal position of agony. All humans take 1 stress.
God.
Dr. Salil gets the fuck out of the way. He just sort of like backs away from Grimshaw, gun at the ready.
Yeah, Bort does not want anything to do with this black goo coming towards them, so he's also trying to avoid that.
Chum, get your face away from Grimshaw. You don't
Hide
need
your
it to get
face.
any worse. Hide your face.
Yeah, they just kind of back away slowly, not wanting to abandon Grimshaw, but realizing that shit is hitting the fan and they have no idea what's happening.
Well, is all the crystal stuff concerned with him?
Yeah, it's like surging at his body. And
Well, what I mean is it concerned with him because of the squids? And if we let the squids out
I mean,
of his armor,
that's definitely an assumption. It's obvious that the shimmering black nano-organic sludge that's suddenly encased across Grimshaw's body has hardened into a shell-like carapace. From inside, you can hear the man's screams turning more guttural, animalistic. He's clearly confused and panicking. That fear extends out to each of you. Plus 1 stress to all humans.
I mean,
man, for real, we just took it.
A loud pop.
taking 4 stress.
A loud pop emanates from within the black shell as cracks form across its surface, suddenly shattering, producing a deluge of 12 mutated, black armored ambrosquids, 8 of which charge Layla, Regis, Chum, Salil, and Bort. The other 4, seemingly confused and enraptured by their surroundings, sprint off to disappear into the city. Standing up from the remains of the black shell, which crumbles to dust and falls to the ground around what was once Grimshaw, and is now, from the best your human brain can comprehend, the form of an 8-foot-tall Komodo bear. Only small vestiges of the face of the man you remember shine through the furiously roaring maw of this new creature. Long, glistening fangs sputter and spit blood and gristle as the Komodo bear grabs a nearby ambrosquid, raising it to his huffing mouth and ripping the small creature in half. When it turns to see the group, the Komodo bear that was once Grimshaw crouches down into an attack position, roars, and starts charging you. Nearby, the glowing icosagon turns and runs away towards a cluster of crystal spires.
Can we follow them to the spires? Is it running?
I'm like, can we run away?
I don't know.
Follow it.
Run.
So there are 8 squids running towards us.
I wanted to kill the 4 that ran off before they got too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should kill the squids. Ram's gonna aim his shotgun with acid rounds at the squids approaching his comrades and fire.
I'm gonna shoot at Grimshaw. Like I'm just gonna straight up shoot at him.
The man you all once knew as the ex-colonial marine captain of your crew, Jonald Cronunculus Grimshaw, is gone. Some of you have seen the horrific changes the man experiences periodically in the past. Some of you have only heard stories. Some of you have just found out for the first time. What stands in his place is something far different than the half-human beast he's changed into before. In front of you, standing at its full height of 10 feet, this creature is no man, and could only be closest described as the combination between a Komodo dragon and a Kodiak bear. Red, wet, and shiny skin sloughs off the creature at its feet. Those closest are able to briefly make out the shredded remains of an eyeless face before the Komodiak steps forward, squishing the skin slush between its huge claws. His roar echoes amongst and off the surrounding crystal spires, a symphonic cacophony of terror. The sound is unlike anything you've ever heard before, and reaches into your core to grip at your stomach. Unleashed from the Komodiak, 8 of the 12 symbiotic armored ambrosquids lunge towards the human crew of the Clementine. Lucy, feeling lied and betrayed to, ignores the danger posed to the humans by the squids as she drops to one knee, aims her gilt gun towards the aggressively alpha Komodiak, and pulls the trigger indiscriminately. Microwaves emit from the gun like an invisible lightning bolt to strike their target, which briefly stuns the Komodiak long enough for the terrifying beast to stumble and shake its head in confusion. Unlike the gun's effect on humans, this monster is made of sterner stuff. Roll initiative. Okay, so the initiative is Lucy, Salil, Layla, Rom, Ambrosquids, Regis, Bort, and Chum.
She is gonna continue trying to fire with the gilt gun because she's not seen it not work before. Because she was on one knee, and so when she realizes that maybe she thinks she's a little bit too far away, so she's gonna stand up and just like put as much as she can into kind of trying to force it away, like onto the ground with the like beams that are kind of coming out of it.
Okay.
So she gets inches closer.
Okay. So like as she's doing that, the microwaves are just like hitting the Komodiak like harder and harder. Like it's like shaking its head like more from like confused to like angry, and then like just kind of like drops down to the ground and like starts like punching the ground, but like doesn't charge anybody. Like it's just like super confused and distraught and like doesn't know what's happening right now. So it is now Salil's turn.
Salil's gonna run an analysis on the creatures that we are encountering.
All right, roll your panic. Salil, you must seek cover. You must use your next action to move away from danger and find a safe spot if possible.
That's fine.
So what are you trying to observe? You did successfully observe something about these creatures, though. What are you trying to...
What is its purpose, the amber squid?
To propagate its life and continue its species and grow and grow and grow and grow.
Yeah, I know all the rest. What problem could it cause? Could propagate its species.
Yeah, problems could be that it propagates its species or it parasitically takes over your body and mutates you into something else.
Layla's going to target the nearest ambrosquid.
Okay.
And use her fast action to fire with a -2 mod for her smart gun.
All right. So when Layla aims at the closest Ambrose squid and fires, everybody watches as the bullets that burst from the smart gun in a quick hail of fire, instead of watching them find purchase within their target, you're stunned to observe that they've just frozen in midair, only a few inches from the end of the barrel of the gun. It's not just that the bullets have frozen, however, but the entire muzzle flash of fire and powder along with the ripples of air trailing behind the bullets. When Layla tries to pull her trigger a second time, it won't move.
What gun did you just use?
Smart gun.
Oh, sweet lord.
Well, I was going to attack, but now that seems kind of pointless. She's going to go into Overwatch with her colonial sword.
All right, so now it's Rom's turn.
Rom just saw the bullets stop midair, so he's going to run away. He's going to go follow Salil
Okay.
to try to snap him out of it.
Okay. Which means that it is now the Ambrose Squid's turn. Of the humans, since Salil dipped, there's Layla, Chum, Regis, and Bort. So each of you are about to get attacked by 2 Ambrose Squids each.
The floating, what do you call them, the tetrahedrons or whatever?
The icosagons?
Icosagons. So I'm assuming that these things are kind of like all over the place.
Yeah, scattered all around the ground.
And there are some that I would guess are probably boulder size, like
Yes.
really big.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
I moved to cover, not block.
All right, so the first one is going to attack Layla
Yeah.
with
Block.
a bite. All right. I believe in you guys. Come on. All right, so she blocks one of those, which means she takes 3 damage, is paralyzed for her next turn. So then the second one tries to slash her,
Block.
does no damage, completely misses. The first one comes in to attack Chum with
I moved to cover.
okay, with a slash.
Yeah, I actually don't know. I've never seen a cover happen. How does that work, actually?
It provides armor.
There has
Okay.
to actually. Is there cover?
Well, yeah, hold on. There's a table for it.
He's using the icosagons.
Okay.
When
So
bolts start flying, it's often a good idea to seek cover behind something sturdy.
Shrubbery is a +2. Furniture is a +3. So I don't know what that would fall under.
Well, it's firmer. It's firmer than both of those.
yeah, I would say it's a +5.
It's bulkhead. Okay.
So the first one tried to slash and missed, and then another one hops up towards your face to try to bite it, and does 2 damage and causes paralysis for your next turn. And then the third one goes to bite Regis.
He's gonna, I guess, block since cover doesn't really do anything.
All right. All right. Well, you succeed at blocking, but you got to roll your panic. 10, 11, 12, 13. Regis flees. He just can't take it anymore. He must flee to a safe place and refuse to leave it. You won't attack anyone and won't attempt anything dangerous. You're not allowed to make a retreat roll. If you have an enemy at engaged range when you flee, which you do, your stress level is decreased by 1, but every friendly character who sees it is increased by 1. So then, finally, these last 2 go to attack Bort, and the first one comes in with a bite.
Cool, I'm gonna block that.
Successful block, roll that panic. Oh no, buddy. Do you have anything to drop that?
Let's see. No.
Bort drops.
I mean, I have armor.
Nope. Bort drops to the floor catatonic. Now it's Lucy's turn.
Okay. She's going to. I mean, she's looking around and seeing that bullets are bouncing off of things. And people are running away. Can she switch to her flamethrower?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not.
Okay. So she's going to switch to her flamethrower and she's going to continue trying to shoot what's left of Grimshaw.
Okay. So she steps forward and whips her flamethrower around from her back and aims it at the Commodiac and just like lights him up, and like a streak of liquid napalm just like flames out as fire licks across the body of the Commodiac, doing no damage whatsoever.
Oh.
He's immune to fire.
Great.
Yep.
She's not happy about that.
How could she be? Kyle's over there sitting silently like, fuck you. So Leal ran. It's now Layla's turn. She's paralyzed. Rom ran. Okay, so then the Ambrosia squids basically all try to get onto the faces of these paralyzed people here.
Lame.
I mean, I didn't roll your rolls. This is.
I mean, we're paralyzed. What do we do?
Everybody, all the humans. Let's go with what do we got? We got Layla, Chum, Regis, and Bort. All four of you roll a D6, and
Regis fled.
Regis fled. Who's
Yeah.
panicked? Who's panicked? Is it just Chum, Layla, and then Bort
Bort.
is catatonic?
Oh, I don't think you'd give me a panic. You just said I was
No, paralyzed. I didn't mean to say panic. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So Layla and Chum are paralyzed. Bort is catatonic. Okay. So Bort's laying there on the ground, and Chum and Layla watch in their panic state as one of the amber squids literally leaps onto Bort's body, wraps itself around his face, and then just like starts like pumping, just pumping on his face, which means that it is now Lucy's turn.
Oh gosh. She's gonna try to fire on the squid that's on Bort's face.
Her inner android is definitely coming out now.
She's gonna use the flamethrower on the one that's on Bort's head.
All she has is her scope rifle, and I feel like that would be worse.
Can
mean,
you like
she
do something crazy with your armor and like chisel it off or something?
She could also use her flamethrower on like the other squids.
I could use it. Okay, I guess she knows enough to know that Bort's
Bort's a lost cause.
struggling. Okay, yes, I will fire the flamethrower on the others, or at least one of them.
Okay. All right. So one of the squids is destroyed. Just chars up, and like its little legs just like crinkle into its body. It's now so Salil ran. Layla is no longer paralyzed.
Is she within engaged range?
Yes.
All right. She's just gonna try and attack the closest amber squid in engaged range with her colonial sword.
Okay. Layla just like stepped forward and like killed 3 amber squids back to back, slash, just with her sword. How does she do it?
She kind of pirouettes and does a long reaching slash, like a circular slashing motion, and just kind of cuts all 3 down simultaneously.
Okay, and then when she does that, roll your panic. So Layla flees as well. She just can't take it anymore. Her stress level is decreased by 1, but every friendly character who sees her run must make an immediate panic roll.
Regis already fled, so that doesn't matter.
I mean, does Rom want to do anything?
All right, I'm gonna try to hit one of the. Is there one on top of Chum right now?
No, there are currently 3 left. There's 1 on Bort's face, and one on Bort's face. 1 was killed, and 4 have been killed. So that's 5. So yeah, there's 3 left that are just like kind of like pouncing around, like trying to hop onto you guys or hop on.
I'm gonna aim at the one on Bort's face and try to hook and chain to rip it off his face.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
So he's gonna aim. All right.
+2?
Yeah, +2.
Can we all give him a +2 somehow?
No.
We put our hand
Alright.
on Al's shoulders, bodies, and help him aim.
Oh, you bastards.
Wow. All right, hold on. I got to roll the armor here. Hold on. Oh, wow. It fully failed. So, yeah, you fully succeed. Describe what happens.
He like whips the chain and he's like, I forgot how much I love this, and like swung it at Bort's face, and it like hooks to the side of the amber squid, and he like whips it off his face and slams it into the ground.
Okay, so as it rips off of his face, like fresh, hot rainbow liquid blood pours into Bort's eyes, nose, and mouth.
Well,
so
sorry.
it is now the 3 remaining Ambro Squid's turn. So literally the only human left here is Chum. So all 3 of these Ambro Squids are coming for Chum. Alright, so the first one slashes Chum, doing 2 damage. The second one leaps up to slash at him again.
Can I cover, or am I still paralyzed?
No, you were only paralyzed for 1 round, man.
Okay, so I'm covering for the second one. I took the first 2 damage. I'll take that.
Okay, so roll your cover. Alright, and you take 2 damage from the second one.
Okay.
And then this third one comes up to try and bite you.
Hi, baby.
Oh,
And does 3 damage and paralyzes you.
And I am out of HP.
Alright, so Chum has now dropped. It is now Lucy's turn.
I'm gonna fire on the remaining squids with my flamethrower.
Alright, it burns up 2 of them. There's 1 squid left. It's Rom's turn.
Rom is going to chain whip that one.
Okay.
Hook chain. He's going to aim and swing. All right.
Alright. He rips that one to pieces. Describe what happens.
Just the same thing. He like hits it and then just like sort of whips it back and forth into the ground until it's ripped up.
Okay, so as Rom is just like thrashing this Ambro Squid with his hook and chain, him and Lucy, but because they're currently the only ones standing here, pretty much realize like there's no gravity in this place, and you're standing upright on the ground. But whatever this place is, it forgot to tell the human's blood and any blood. Instead of splattering, the blood beads up like oil, floating off into thousands of tiny particles to attach and stick to crystal surfaces all around you, marring their beautiful, perfect, reflective, prismatic surfaces with haphazard specks of crimson. With the last squid dispatched, the Commodiac clears the confusion from its head and looks over at Lucy, eyes ablaze and snarling. A deep growl emits from the monster's chest as it turns towards her and flexes its chest and arms, producing diamond-edged claws. The beast huffs less a challenge than a declaration and starts moving towards the synthetic. All panics are over. All flees, runs, all that's over. Bort is still catatonic on the ground, unconscious though. And Chum is broken.
well, I guess Layla and Regis re-enter the fold here and kind of gather themselves and close the distance back towards the group, or what's left of the group. Do we get a turn here, or are we just kind of making an observation?
I mean, like, there hasn't a battle hasn't initiated yet. Like, the monster hasn't attacked anybody yet. But like, depending on what happens here, like, we'll definitely we'll have to see.
Layla wanted to try to revive Chum if possible.
Okay. So Layla runs over and drops down to try and revive Chum, but Chum got a slashed shoulder. He cannot use one arm. Your choice. So yeah. So you've just lost the use of one arm for 5 days because you got slashed up real bad by one of the Ambro Squids. So now Layla can roll her medical aid to try to heal a point or two.
And I'm going to use a surgical kit to try and heal his crit.
Oh shit!
And that's a +3.
And you get a +1 from me.
Nice.
All right. So roll your panic. So Lil successfully now has 4 hit points.
Oh, not Salil, Chum.
I mean, sorry. Chum successfully now has 4 hit points.
-2.
All right, so Layla's panic is that she has a nervous twitch and that her stress level and the stress level of all friendly PCs go up by 1.
Chum starts spitting out blood as he realizes he's coming back from revival, and he goes, "Layla, I owe you more than you know.
At least it wasn't your face this time. Ram is gonna try to talk down. Can he try to manipulate Grimshaw to calm him down?
I mean,
It's a take control. Use wits. I use wits for manipulation. So.
okay, go for it.
Okay.
All right, so what does Ram do and say? Like, what happens here?
Grimshaw, pull yourself together. We've been through too much to let you turn into the villain now.
You watch as the monster's body visibly relaxes a little bit, but then, without warning, the Commodiac pivots on a dime and charges towards Ram at an aggressive speed. He's on the child before anyone can blink. With a swipe from one of its massive scaled paws, Ram is knocked backwards to the ground in a thunderous crunch as his metal chest plate is dented in. On his back now, Ram struggles to regain his breath, but while trying to get back up, is suddenly overwhelmed by a more than uncomfortable face-to-face with the Commodiac as the massive creature stands directly over the small boy, its face only inches away. Ram can smell the rotten perfume of the beast's breath as thick, foamy drool hangs from its lip to drop on the kid's face. As it does so, the Commodiac opens its jaws wide as if to bite the synthetic's head off, but instead roars in his face, blasting a wave of spittle across his helmet. When the monster does this, a thick, defensive, bladed mane of spears frills out around its head like a lion's mane.
He just is like equal parts terrified and just in awe, and he's just slowly creeping towards Grimshaw, trying to get a read on him, even though he's way out of his field here of normalcy. And I guess he's gonna, even though Ram just failed, he's gonna try and talk him down, or at least try to communicate with him.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Focus on the sound of my voice. Breathe. Surely you must be in there somewhere.
Regis says that to Grimshaw and then watches as like the great beast just slowly turns its head to look away from Ram towards the older British gentleman and grabs onto the head of little Ram with its fucking giant clawed fucking diamond tipped hand and just throws him to the side as it charges towards Regis. And so Regis just starts screaming in terror. He loses his next slow action. His stress level is decreased by 1, but everybody who sees this raises. And you all watch now as the Commodiac charges toward Regis and lifts its arm back up to basically just deliver this fucking coup de grace.
Layla's gonna come in. He's mid swing basically.
Yeah.
All right, she's gonna slash at his arm with her sword.
Okay.
I don't want to do this, but fuck, man.
So very successful hit, but roll your panic. So she freezes. So Layla swings the sword to hit Grimshaw's arm, but realizes that she's now attacking her fucking not just her boss but her friend, and her stress level and all of the friendly PC stress level goes up by 1. But she finishes her swing, but it's just that since she froze halfway through, instead of hitting him in the arm, the sword goes wild and finds a groove in the soft tissue behind the big frill. There's soft tissue behind the frill on its neck, and it carves this gash of brightly colored meat out. And now actually wounded by 2. What is the damage that you did here? You did 3, 4, 5 damage to Grimshaw. Yeah. So actually wounded now. The creature steps away from Regis, and as it does so, its mane descends back down to protect over the wounded area. And it looks from Layla to Lucy, and the once Grimshaw appears unsure of its next move, when without warning there's a deafening boom as the sky cracks open, crushing everyone to the ground with a shockwave. You watch as from seemingly nowhere the Chernobog has arrived. The ship spins end over end chaotically, completely out of control, and it's headed directly towards you.
Run!
The crew is carried along purely on a strong cocktail of fear and adrenaline as the group individually breaks out into their best sprints. The unbelievable sound of crunching metal, shattering crystal, and explosions overtake the volume as the world around you is lost in a haze of crystalline powdered clouds. Barely able to make out your own hand in front of your face, I just realized Bort's on the ground. All right, hold on. I gotta stop laughing. Barely able to make out your own hand in front of your face. The crystal dust scratches and cracks your glass helmet plating. Inert icosagons of all sizes are carried along by the blast wave, crashing into and shattering other crystals and lodging into nearby spires. Through the dense cloud, Salil, Chum, and Regis all see Panthera sprinting and follow after him. Behind them, the approaching Chernobog smashes through the ground. Layla, the only person who hesitated watching after the Lamodiac, changed direction at the last moment and grabbed Bort, lifting him up over her shoulder and throwing him on her back. Layla runs from the oncoming onslaught as she watched the Lamodiac disappear in another direction. Backed into a corner by the wreckage from the massive ship, Layla cradles Bort's unconscious body and braces for the inevitable impact, until the crystal behind her opens like a portal and they're both pulled inside by the hard light construct of Bort. The crystal under Lucy's right arm and the flamethrower in her left hand, Lucy runs through the mire not looking forward, but instead looking down at the flashing crystal as it blinks faster when she heads in the right direction. Amongst the wreckage of the Chernobog, Lil Rom pushes a metal pile of wires, diodes, and metal sheeting off his body just in time to see Lucy leap into a large sinkhole in the ground caused by crashing spaceships. Looking down at his body, he sees the left arm of his armor was completely shattered and that all of the synthetic skin on that arm has been burned off, leaving his carbon fiber musculature and inner workings visible for any and all to see. Standing up, the small robot sees none of his other crew.
Rom calls out, Lucy! Bort! Layla! Chum! Salil! Where the fuck are you?
And his voice like reverberates off of all of the crystal spires, but he gets no response. The only person that he actually saw go anywhere was Lucy down into that hole. He has no idea where anybody else is. You're like standing like in just wreckage. Like there's just like shattered crystals everywhere. There's like crystal powder. Like think of what the streets of New York looked like during 9/11. It's like that basically.
Mm-hmm. So he picks up some of the wreckage, like of the crystals, as he's walking, just trying to look out and around him, trying to spot anyone or anything in all the destruction. Would that be an observation?
Yeah. All right, yeah. So you don't see where anybody went. You don't see anybody from the Chernobog. Like, as you get closer, you see that the hole that, like, Lucy went down in is basically, like, this just massive, like, geode tunnel. And that, like, deep down in there, you can see sort of the blinking of the crystal shard. Like, so you know she's, like, maybe, like, a quarter of a mile ahead.
I guess I'll descend down the hole, and I'm going to take a piece of crystal and mark the path in case.
So you can like find your way back.
Yeah, I just wanted to mark the path so that anyone who may still be out here knows where we went.
How are you going to mark it?
RL and then an arrow.
Okay, cool. All right, so like Rom spends a little time carving him and Lucy's initials into the crystal, and then with a little arrow, and then hops down in, and it says, so after he hops down in, Rom is surprised when, as he does so, his gravity inverts, and he ends up standing upside down on a nearly identical version of the crystal city above, but instead of clean carved crystal spires made by design, this area of the city is instead essentially a massive geode.